Hello, beautiful soul. I'm Vicki Howie of chakraboosters.com, the creator of Chakra Boosters Healing Tattoos. And this is your energy forecast for April 2020. I'm coming to you today from a very sunny Scottsdale, Arizona, and I'm in a public park because the spring-like energy here seemed worth it. There may be a lot of life sounds around us. There may be sounds of cars or ducks or dogs or people talking, but it just seemed worth it to have this sunny day on video, because the energy that's ushering into April is, of course, the Aries energy. We had an Aries new moon that was really powerful on March 24th, and that is continuing. It's continuing into this month with the Aries sun, and in the northern hemisphere we're actually moving into spring. But even in the southern hemisphere there's still this strong Aries energy that's saying, create something new. Out of the things that have fallen away, this energy has been so strong this year, more than any time before in April. Create something new. April's known as a month of rebirth, but more than ever right now, it's telling us, create something new. So I'm going to look at 4 themes. I usually look at 3, but ironically, one of my themes is actually the number 4, which kept coming to me this month, and I'll tell you why. Then we're going to look at 3 dates. I always look at the new moon and the full moon, and I'm going to look at one other date that's very interesting and can be very auspicious if we look at it from the right angle. And then finally at the end, I'm going to share 2 goddess cards, one for the first half of the month and one for the second half of the month. So let's start with the number 4. Normally I have 3 themes, but the number 4 itself is a theme this month. It's all over the place. It wouldn't stop coming toward me. We have the 4th month, April, in a 4-year, 2020. And we also have one of the dates I'm going to bring up is 4-4, which is 4-4-2020, which is 4-4-4. 4 just keeps coming up. So I think it's really important that we visit the symbolic meaning of 4. 4 in numerology has long been known for, like the 4 corners of a building or foundation, it has long been known for earth energy. It tells us that something is stable, secure, systematic, conservative. It also tells us it's service-oriented. On the negative side, it likes to tell us something might be boring because it's about things being consistent and systematic. And of course, that's an energy that's super important right now. It's also about boundaries. It's the clarity. Root chakra is about boundaries, where borders are. And that's important right now too. But that's the traditional numerological definition. I like to pay a lot of homage to the heart chakra, because the number 4 is the heart chakra, and the chakras speak to us through the numbers. So this means the number 4 is also about lots of heart and connection, compassion, all these things that are coming up for so many of us right now, and most importantly, healing. 4 and the heart chakra is about immunity. It's related to the thymus gland, and that is about healing and immunity. When healers, Reiki practitioners, massage therapists, chiropractors do their work, they do it through heart chakra energy that comes out of the palm chakras, through the heart, down the arms, out the hands. So I just wanted to share with you that we have a lot of this 4 energy coming in both ways. First of all, in root chakra energy, which is the traditional numerological meaning, which is interesting because our heart will not open unless we feel safe. Think about that. You won't open your heart to someone or something if you're feeling really unsafe. So we need root chakra in order for our heart to feel safe enough to open. And 4 is really representing both of those things. The root chakra, the boundaries, the safety, the stability, the systemization that we need to feel safe. and the connection and love and compassion and healing that comes, and immunity that comes from the heart chakra itself. Okay, so I just had to bring that up. I've never brought a number up before, but it just wanted itself to be talked about in this energy forecast. So let's look at the 3 major themes. I could have done 10 themes. We're going through so much right now. And the overall theme that you've probably heard a lot is that we're moving. Finally, I can actually say we have moved, although after you move, it takes some adjustment period, into the age of Aquarius. It's really quite official now. We are being awakened. So that's sort of an overall theme, but I'm not counting it as a theme because I want my themes to be ideas that you can work with in your life, with yourself. And we can't really work so much with the fact that we're in the age of Aquarius except for working through ourselves. So let's look at theme number 1. The first theme is that you are developing a new soul-driven self. Last month I talked about how you would need to figure out your own authority. Theme number 3 from March was figuring out your own authority so you weren't too affected by the collective. And man, has that turned out to be important. But it's not enough, because once you begin to consult your own authority, you need to actually go deep within, so you're not just consulting yourself at an ego level. The ego is fine and it's good, but it's the upper layer of it's the crust on our pie. It's the part of us that is more impulsive, that wants the simpler things. The soul goes much deeper and runs much deeper. And everything that's going on right now is asking you to go deeper and deeper into your relationship with your own soul and what you really want and what you really value and what you're really here to do. So celebrate this, build this relationship with the soul. I've been following mine for a while. I got a hit 12 years ago when Jupiter, it was a 12-year Jupiter cycle ago, because Jupiter goes every 12 years into different signs, and it was in Capricorn then. And it's in Capricorn again now, and or this year. And for that reason, I'm finding a rebirth. I'm creating new things, a whole new business actually that I will be sharing with you soon that helps the collective. But I did create my chakra boosters back then, and that came from my soul and my guides, and I followed it. It was wild and scary. Create chakra healing tattoos. Wow, what's that? But I started my journey by doing vision boards, and I did deep, soulful vision boards by making them feng shuied. And I shared this process with you for free in a series of 4 videos on my YouTube channel. So I will connect you to the playlist for that here down below. If you feel like you want to begin this exploration with yourself, and maybe you haven't been doing it as much, vision boards are a really good place to begin. So you might want to make a vision board. You might want to journal more. Write down your dreams, the actual night dreams that you have. Connect with others and have more deep, heartfelt conversations, which leads me to theme number 2. This is for everyone, right? We are all creating new, more authentic forms of connection. And this means we have to communicate in more authentic ways. Now, what does this mean? It's easy to say, but what does it mean? In the past, we've had a tendency to either gloss over certain parts of life. Oh, how's it going? Fine, right? We just gloss things over to get on to the next thing. Or in the spiritual realm, we often do what's called spiritual bypassing. We ignore what's going on in our human self to try to be above it. Authentic communication means that we are communicating from a level of deep humanity, knowing that humanity connects us, not because we want to feel like victims, but rather because we want to be real with each other, and we can only rise above things when we've gone through them. We don't go through them, we don't have them in us. And without having our human experiences in us, we don't have as much human connection, because it's living in this 3D world, in these bodies, being vulnerable, having to face our fears and have losses, have sadnesses, etc., that allows us to really touch each other and connect in a very real and tangible way. So, throw out the spiritual bypassing, get with people that you can be real with, even if that means online, and begin telling your truth at a deeper level, knowing that it's not going to be a threat to you to tell about all of your human experience, to be fully yourself with another. Be vulnerable. There's so much courage in vulnerability. And as we all do this, we're going to create this really juicy connected energy, not a pretend connected energy. Can you feel that? It's not above things. It's not because I don't have any humanity. It's because I'm so human and you're so human that we connect into our deepest divinity. Because everything human is divine. The divine is in everything. I want that to just sink in, and then we'll move on to theme number 3. Theme number 3 is quite obvious, but easy to miss. It's something we've been working on for decades, and it's called being in the moment. We're getting a live lesson now on what it means to be in the moment, because we're being forced to be in the moment. When we can't live in our old habit patterns, when the future is uncertain, we are drawn together in more connectedness if we want to acknowledge our connectedness, and we are drawn into this moment because the habitual moment of yesterday has fallen apart and the future moment of tomorrow is not here yet and it's not clear. The gift is being in the moment. And being in the moment is the one habit that if you create it will break all the other habits, because the moment is always fresh and new. Are you with me in this moment right now? Feel your surroundings, feel your breath, feel your longings in this moment, your emotions. The longings would be your desires. Feel who you are, your own flesh and bones, your body, your breath. Notice it all. If you're outside like me, hear the birds. There's so many birds here. We are getting a lesson, a real lesson, a tangible, embodied now. That's the important part, an embodied lesson in being in the moment. And there is no treasure greater in all of life than the ability to be in the moment. Because if we can't be in the moment, we're never really living. And it's a skill that's actually quite ridiculously challenging for our culture, where we've always been pushing on to the next thing. So can you take this beautiful lesson of being in the moment and really go for it this month, rather than try to figure everything out and have more certainty with the future? Embrace this moment. Embrace what's around you, your own body, your own experience, and really practice the skill of living life from the only place that it can be lived, this moment. And you'll notice, as you are more and more in the moment, you're more and more in your heart. Because the heart chakra is the center of our field. It's our natural balance point. And when we're in the moment and in the now, we're in our heart naturally. I just want you to feel into that for a moment. And then we're going to move on to some dates to keep in mind. Let them wash over you. You don't need to write them down and plan out for them. Just let them wash over you. What's needed will come to you in the moment when these dates arrive. The first one is 4/4/2020. Now, I am not an astrologer, but the astrologers have let us know of a very important thing that's going to happen. And it's roughly about 10 days. It starts on, I believe, March 28th or so. So if you're watching this in April, it's already gone by. And it goes until around April 7th. But the key date that it really takes place or is most profound is the 4th of April, 4/4/2020, and that is the Jupiter-Pluto conjunction. They are conjunct exactly on the 4th of April. So there's that number, 4/4/2020. What does this mean, Jupiter and Pluto coming together and getting so cozy? Jupiter is the planet of luck. It's like the crown chakra. It's the all. It's growth, expansion, wisdom, spirituality. It's benevolent. Can you feel that energy? It's like the lottery of energy. And it expands whatever it is with or in. And Pluto is the energy of intensity. It's scorpionic in nature, right? It's got that underworld. It's about letting things fall that need to die. It's about learning the big lessons. And it goes back to what I said earlier. It's all about soul. This is your month to really get cozy with your own soul so that you can have a soul-driven, not a personality or ego-driven life. So it's not happening on the surface, it's happening deeply, and you're co-creating it from a deep, deep place with the divine. That's it. I just want you to feel into that. Notice the numerology of it, the heart chakra centeredness of it, 4/4/2020, and just know that even the whole period around it, from the 28th of March, depending on when you see this video, till the 7th of April, if something falls away at this time, you need to grieve it. We definitely need to grieve things when they fall away. But you can know in your heart of hearts that it was meant to go. With Jupiter, the luck and expansion of Jupiter, if something falls away and dies in this period, especially on 4/4, but any time in the period I mentioned, then it is making way for something new to emerge. Our next important date is 4/7/2020, April 7th. It's like heart, 4/7, heart and crown energy of 2020. Heart again, heart, crown, heart. It's beautiful energy, and it is the time of the new moon at 7:34 p.m. Pacific. You can adjust for your time. We will have a Libra full moon. Libra is all about relationships and balance, and that's what everyone is learning right now. We're learning our relationship to self and deepening it. We're learning our relationship to other. We're learning how we affect each other so easily and how others affect us. We are learning to have more balance in our life. We have been a work-driven culture in the Western world, and the pandemic has caused us to shift and look at what's more important and to take a huge pause, to be more with others, to be more with self. Work and outer world, inner world, and being with self, and then being with others in pleasure and play. These are all three big pillars of a triangle that's very important. There are other things, of course. There are health, and I could go on and on about other things, but those are the three that I feel are really being balanced. So celebrate the balance that you have in any of these areas for the full moon, because the full moon is about celebration. And it's also a time to recalibrate a little bit if you're looking at your Libran energy, your relationships, and you're not feeling that it's really in balance. It brings us back to the heart energy again too, because the heart is the balance point. You know, the scales, the Libra scales, the heart is the balance point. We got a bird that really wants to underline this in your energy field, in all of our energy fields. The heart is when we're in the now and we're balanced, we rest in our heart. Imagine the whole planet balanced and in good relationship to self and other equals peace and love and compassion and healing. So celebrate that, the Libra full moon. On 4/22, so there we are again with 4. 22 is a 4, and it's the master number for 4. 4/22/2020, 4/4/4 again. We have a new moon that is in Taurus. Now, officially it's in Taurus, but if you look at the site for the astrology king, he says that it's actually in the constellation of Aries because the stars have changed over time. I love this because I can really feel both. Intuitively, my guides say this is true. Taurian energy is ruled by Venus, and it's sweet, and it looks at our values. Here it is again. What's important to you? What's important to us culturally? I'd like to say each other, for one thing, and that's one of the things we're really learning. But Taurus is the sign that's ruled by the planet Venus, which is about love and beauty and money or material things, luxury. Can you feel that? It's about nature too, because it's an earth sign. So feel into how you feel about these things. How do you value these things? Love and beauty and money. How do you value them? And set your intentions on the new moon, because the new moon is when we have a whole new beginning. And you have this Aries energy, so set intentions that you can actually take action on. Call in that fire. Keep moving forward. I know many of us feel like we've had to be in a standstill, but there's a certain bit of illusion to that because we can always be creative. I began a business before the pandemic began, and I'm continuing that business, continuing to create. And yes, it feels different doing it now, but I think it feels delicious, and it feels like it's right in line with all of the Aries energy. So I'm inviting you to create intentions around what you value, what you want to create, take courageous actions, and especially actions out of the ashes. Whatever has fallen away in your life, what do you want there instead? What are you going to create? Grieve as you need to grieve. Grieving's important, but what do you want to create? Okay? After the grief is done, we go back to what do I want to create? We are creative beings. We are slices of the divine in flesh, and the divine is endlessly creative. So that's it, you guys. That's the month. We're going to draw 2 goddess cards, okay? So hang on, and I got to grab the deck, and I'll be right back with you. Thank you for being patient with me. I'm back with 2 cards. I shuffled the whole deck, and I chose 2 cards, one for the first half of the month, one for the second half of the month, and we're going to take a look at them. The first one is Ishtar, and in this particular deck, Ishtar is about boundaries. The word that is signified on the card is boundaries, and the statement is love yourself enough to say no to others' demands on your time and energy. We're back kind of to what I was saying in March a little, which is that energy of self-authority and being clear, this is me, this is you. Now, many people think that when you have good boundaries, that means you have more separation between you and others. But the truth is, healthy boundaries allow you to actually have really good closeness with others, because you can be closer to others and not get lost in that closeness. Ask your psychologist or your counselor, and you'll see what I mean. I know it sounds almost counterintuitive, but it's totally true. And Ishtar, interestingly, is a really strong goddess, and she is associated with Venus, just like Taurus is for the energy in the second half of the month. So now we've got that Venus energy in both halves of the month. She actually, there's a story about Ishtar where she goes in the underworld. So there's that 4/4/2020 Plutonian energy again, the Pluto energy of going into the underworld, taking the hero's journey. Ishtar did, but she did something interesting. In the 7 gates of the underworld, at each gate, she took off a piece of clothing. So that goes to what I was saying. It's like she's underlining this vulnerability. Can we have better boundaries with others and yet be more transparent and closer to others by being more honest about who we are, especially about our humanity, which would be symbolized taking off clothes, right? We're showing our body, our humanity. I love that one. Okay, Ishtar in the first half of the month, and the second half of the month, We have Dana. Dana, the high priestess. Now, Dana is actually on the box cover of the cards. So there are 44 goddess cards, and she was chosen as the box cover because she's the high priestess. And what it says here is you have divine knowledge that can help others through your spiritual teachings. So really, we're all teachers for each other right now. Don't think you're a teacher only if you are an actual teacher, okay? Know that you're a teacher because we're all looking to each other for wisdom, for spiritual wisdom, to see how to be in this experience, be in this moment, and move forward with grace and with wisdom. The high priestess has a strength where she walks her talk. She's a Celtic goddess who's actually connected to like the leprechauns, right? The magic and the alchemy of the leprechauns, the pot of gold, and the magic worlds that you need to believe in to not get lost in the 3D world. And she's a high priestess. So that's just the second half of the month. That soulfulness that we've been working on is really going to come forth. The question is, can you now live it? Can you be the teacher, the wise one, from your very being, just from how you walk and how you talk and what you do, because others are watching you right now. That's the message from our two goddesses, and that's the entire reading from me. Thank you so much for staying through the whole thing, and I will see you on the next forecast. I'll actually see you on the next video if you come to my channel next week, and then next month we'll be looking at the energies of May. Until then, beautiful one, live the themes, know your moons, hold some little rituals around the full moon and the new moon, and feel into all this beautiful 4 energy and the goddesses that can guide you, Ishtar and Dana, the high priestess. Blessings.